Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lyds, and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and we are now expecting to head into the next main quest mission, which appears to be one in which we will finally meet back up with our son, Villem, and, well, of course, he's been signed with the Nilfgaardians, so what exactly is going to come of that meeting remains to be seen. It certainly seemed, when we first learned of this setup, that it was going to be just that. Some kind of trap, some ambush, or some trick that the Nilfgaardians were playing on us, so I think we still need to be cautious going forward here, but...
Tower. We draw near, your grace.
No sign of Villem yet, far as
exactly.
I can see.
Unsurprising. Prompt he never was.
Yeah, except it might not just be that he's late. It might be that they're trying to, well, yeah, basically mess with us in some other way, and I'm sure there are many ways that Nilfgaard could do that. Like an abandoned, ruined fortress here, where they could have a bunch of archers or crossbowmen hiding in the rubble, ready to shoot us as soon as we walk in. That certainly would be possible. Who knows what else, but it certainly looks like a trap.
The Queen had chosen to meet Villem at Devil's Tower, and not without purpose. The structure stood on an isle, so no foe could approach without first exposing themselves on a narrow bridge. The isle had little vegetation midst which to conceal a large force. A small unit could evade detection. Altogether, not much to fear.
Okay. So that feels like that's not a coincidence that you're bringing that up.
No escorts were your terms,
Began Gascon, with a hint of mischief.
but better safe than sorry, I always say.
What are you suggesting?
Yours truly and 4 chaps behind the walls. Give a signal, any signal, and we'll leap to your side.
Meve struggled with her conscience. There was no honor in Gascon's plan, but prudence, certainly. In the end, she nodded in agreement,
Okay, I was
though not without compunction.
assuming we were going to have to make that decision. Not have that decision made for us, but yeah, so Meve and really Gascon understand that this is a pretty risky thing to just waltz on in here unguarded.
Villem arrived soon after. The
Okay, he
heavily
does
armed
show.
Cavalry he had in tow, clearly there to boost his courage. He left them at the foot of the bridge and rode across alone. A stiff wind from the river nearly made off with his ermine fur cloak. Villem and the mother who'd borne him stood face to face. They gazed into each other's eyes, waiting to see who would look away first.
And
When neither did, Meve
Okay.
broke the silence.
we heard about... Did Villem actually appear in person in Mahakam? I don't remember. So I remember we heard of him, and then soon thereafter we learned of some, traitorous is maybe a strong word, but some things that both Gascon and Reynard were doing that... Reynard in particular, he was still coordinating with our son, Villem, so... this might still be the first time we've seen him in person since he drove us out.
Time flies, and I've a kingdom to liberate. No need to drag this out. What's this about? Tell me.
Okay, Villem.
I thought my messenger already did.
Also, his coat of arms is different than ours?
Oh, he did. And how? Villem I wishes to arrange a truce. Only, Villem I is in no position to parley on an equal footing. Villem I can, at most, offer his unconditional surrender, because Villem I's losing this war.
It's a strong statement. I'm not really sure that it's true, but alright. We'll go with it. We'll roll with it.
Yes, Mother, I am. And I see that by losing I've at last made you content.
Let's see. Not here to discuss us, but the war. Or do not play the victim. So... he claims that he is actually, truthfully... basically, at least he himself is surrendering. You know, surely not on behalf of all of Nilfgaard, but Okay, I'll be honest, not really sure how much of a difference either of these are going to make.
Villem, we do not meet as mother and son. We meet only as leaders of two armies at war.
Can you separate the two? Truly?
I must. If only not to lose my mind.
So basically, we chose, I guess, the more pragmatic approach, I guess, rather than the more personal approach.
I see. Then let us parley. I'm losing, you say. And you're right. But I haven't lost yet. And have no intention to surrender.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. He is not surrendering.
I am ready, however, to renounce my fealty to the Empire and pledge my forces to you. As long as you fulfill my conditions.
Okay. I guess that isn't surrender, but is close to it. He's just litigating the conditions upon which he will surrender.
Let me hear them.
First, you will not rescind the reforms I've authorized already. Any of them.
Do we know all the reforms that he's authorized? Does he have a whole bunch of terrible things that he's done while we were gone? I mean, presumably a bunch of things that would support the Nilfgaardians in one way, shape, or form, but...
Second, you will guarantee both my safety and that of my advisors.
Well, you see, about that Caldwell guy...
Third, I shall remain your heir, and next in line for the throne.
Okay, so let's see. We can accept the terms, we can arrest him, or we can say the terms are unacceptable. Wow. Okay. This is a pretty big decision. So... I mean, there are definitely some not-so-great things. The first part, I don't really know what all of the policies that he's enacted while we were gone are, so that one's kind of hard to gauge. His advisors are in many ways the real danger, because they're the ones pulling the strings, and Villem is in many ways just a puppet leader. So, sparing those people is probably not a great thing. And then him being heir to the throne, I mean, we've already seen what he does when he has power, or at least thinks that he has power, and it's not great. So, yeah, those conditions are certainly not what we would like to be agreeing to. So we could say they're unacceptable, and I don't know if that would just completely end the conversation there and lead into some kind of fight, and might even mean that somebody's getting stabbed to death right here. Maybe Meve gives the signal and Gascon shoots Villem on sight. But, so that's possible, and that's probably not what we'd like to have happen. You know, could this lead to further negotiation and more mutually agreeable terms? That would probably be the ideal outcome there, but I'm not really sure if that's going to happen. Otherwise, we just say, we don't like him, but we'll settle, and Villem, presumably, yeah, basically I'm guessing Villem lives, but things are not great for Lyria, Rivia, and us. Whereas here, things are better for the kingdoms, but Villem might die. So I'm expecting for this to lead to some kind of conflict, escalation. Although arresting him might as well. I don't really know. Maybe this is still preferable. I would think that he might not comply if we try to arrest. I suspect there's a way in which Villem dies from this encounter. I'm just not sure whether it's this or it's this. Because I could see this escalating, but I could also see him not complying with being arrested, and then it turns into a whole ordeal, and he gets killed, because there's all this chaos breaking out, and somebody gets, Gascon with his archers over in the rubble get concerned, and they're like, okay, we need to make sure Meve is safe, so we're just gonna shoot this guy. So, I think I'm gonna go this way, but I can see a world in which this leads to Villem getting killed.
These terms I cannot accept.
Well, I had to try, Mother.
Okay, no negotiation?
Yet I can't deny your courage either. Come here.
Oh?
Look me in the eye. This couldn't have been easy.
Okay, now I will admit I did not expect it to go in this direction.
No, it wasn't.
But now I'm expecting him to walk up and, like, stab us in the back with a poisoned dagger or something.
I trust when the time comes, you'll show the same nerve on the battlefield.
Oh. Okay, so he's not going to die right now, but it does mean that we're going to kill him in battle.
I shall seek out your banner. Let the gods then settle our dispute once and for all.
Okay, yeah, no.
Goodbye, Mother.
Forget about negotiation. Okay, yes, as we expected, it will probably lead to Villem dying, but maybe not the exact way we thought it was going to happen. So, I mean, it's, for what it's worth, I mean, we talked about the potential outcomes, but, you know, is that something that we think is the right choice to make? I mean, clearly Villem, he's a traitor, and a terrible traitor at that. Does that mean that the preferable outcome is to fight him to the death on the battlefield? I mean, in a world of honor, then perhaps that is the only way to, you know, rightfully dispose of him, rather than lock up our own son and disgrace our family. But I don't know. I think it's a
Villem
very
bowed,
interesting decision.
turned and walked away. Meve's anger burned still in her gut, beneath a heart now heavy with grief. Soon thereafter, Meve's army set out towards Rivia Castle. It would not be long now before the decisive battle.
In which we now expect to not only face the Nilfgaardians themselves, but of course, Villem very likely as well. Okay, so I think, you know, we understood what we highly suspected what we were getting ourselves into there. And as I said, I think it's a very interesting decision, because you can make a case for probably any or all of those things. And it's just a matter of personal perspective and priorities. Obviously, don't have perfect insight as to what might happen next, but it does make you wonder how all this is going to play out at the end. This looks like a spot where we had a treasure chest, yes. So I remembered the bridge, and then there were trees surrounded by a circle. Oh. Well. Okay, now you're going to make me feel bad about it, though. It's like, you sure, Lids? You sure you're willing to pick a fight with Villem? Are you really sure? Oh, no. I mean, yeah, we understood, or at least we made a decision with the information we had available at the time. And now we just have to see how it plays out. As for what we have next, it's a battle here. Looks to be some Nilfgaardians. We could see if there's anything along this narrow bridge here. And then afterward, I mean, we might even be able to circumvent this battle if we, for whatever reason, didn't think we could handle it. But if we can do that, then there may be multiple directions we could go in after that. And how far are we from the final section? It's a little further than the game was implying there. They kind of made it sound like it was right around the corner, the storyteller just then. Oh,
Grace,
what's
said
this?
Reynard, saluting and clicking his heels.
Peasants from the Scala region have arrived at camp. Supplicants, wishing to deliver a plea to your person.
Meve sighed. Supplicants, trials, audiences. All aspects of queendom she did not miss.
Very well. Bring them here.
She replied.
And instruct them to be brief, with no digressions.
Okay. What is this?
The band of commoners was led by a sturdily built beekeeper dubbed Ethelred, son of Theobald.
Okay.
Finding himself
Name
in the
means nothing to me.
presence, he fell to his knees and waved his arms in his best impression of proper etiquette.
Oh, my lady, the queen, your gracious mightiness. Take pity on us tillers and toilers. Wars all around, leaving us but scraps to live off, and barely that, to be honest. So we beg you, don't do it. Don't raise the levies. We can't pay more than...
What?
Meve interrupted.
What the devils are you talking about?
Yeah, I have no idea what they're talking about.
What? Your decree? one they nailed to our notice board.
The peasant said, sheepishly pulling out a parchment and pointing to the relevant paragraph with his rough finger.
We, Queen Meve, do hereby proclaim that if our throne we shall recover, the tallage, murage, and pavage we shall raise threefold. The expenses of this war for to compensate at the cost of the common folk.
Okay, so just more of the Nilfgaardian propaganda that we've seen throughout Rivia thus far. Though this is interesting, because it could have just been that we occasionally come across that stuff, and it's flavor text, if you will, to just build the atmosphere, but to actually have this be something that we have someone come up to us and ask us about, just makes it that much more real, that much more impactful.
Meve and
So that's
Rivia
cool.
exchanged astonished glances. They had issued no such decree. Yet the document bore her signature and seal.
Perhaps it was Villem's doing.
Impossible.
Meve said firmly.
My son sank low, but not so low as to forge my name.
Then who fabricated this decree?
The Nilfgaardians.
The queen replied without hesitation.
They have access to my seal, to my scribes. They wish to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt, turn my folk against me. And they are liars without any honor.
True.
The queen tore the falsified document to shreds. Knowing this would solve nothing, she had to find the printers churning out these fakeries and end their run.
Okay. Interesting. So, perhaps there's actually something we can do about that. Going forward. Not just yet, but somewhere else. We are also getting somewhat close to being able to afford the possibly final upgrade we will want, which is... maybe just nab this real quick. Which is going to be the one that I think reduces the recruit cap cost of some of our units. Now, that's not critically important right now, and we still want to make sure we have some resources even after doing that, so that we have some wiggle room in case we do find ourselves stuck and in need of making some upgrades. Out of curiosity, is there any place that looks like where the printers would be? I feel like a mill, paper mill, might be located in the same spot. I mean, there are several mills over there, but I would think maybe this on the water. It is fairly close by to where we just heard about that stuff, so that would also maybe make some sense for that reason, unless it's all the way up there. But who knows? We'll just keep our eyes peeled for those types of things. Anything on this narrow bridge? Oh, they're worshipping the Great Sun? Gross. Nilfgaardians. How dare they? Okay, well... we proceed further in this direction. We know there is... Oh. Okay, hold on. Is that any old troll? Or is that Shoop? Because we were talking a little bit before about how we saw Shoop really early on in Lyria, I think, and then hadn't heard from him since then. Although it kind of sounded like at the time as if there was going to be some sort of follow-up with him. So I kind of hope it is him. So suddenly, I'm much more interested in that encounter than I am in this random Nilfgaardian battle. So I think we have to check this out. Is this Shoop? Because I hope so. The Troll Gormand. If that's your name, then it's definitely not Shoop. In one of Rivia's many caverns dwells a blind troll known to the locals as Sniff Sniff. He's often seen along roadsides where he greets weary travelers and warmly invites them to his cave for soup. On occasion, utterly drained from hunger, some actually accept the offer and follow the troll to his home. Soon, they realize, however, that they'll not enjoy a single slurp of his soup, but rather become a key ingredient in it. Yeah, okay. Understood. Play the ingredient card that matches the scent of each unit? What? Sometimes throwing an ally into the fire is the best way out. Excuse me? puzzle, or special rules, 1 round, custom deck. Okay. This seems like a pretty crazy one, and I'm all for it. Those are usually my favorite types of puzzles. So, how's this one gonna mix things up? Let's match the scent of each unit. Troll soup every turn. Okay, they've already passed. But every turn start, consume the leftmost card in the melee row. If it was an ingredient, remove 1 power from the troll soup. If it was a ingredient, remove 1 power from troll soup, so we probably want to do that. But if it was a unit, Meve loses the battle. Oh. Okay. Wait, didn't it say something about sometimes throwing an ally into the fire is the best way out, but we can't throw any allies into the fire? Except the alchemist is an ingredient, so is the slinger, so... Oh. Those are ingredients? I guess for the troll they are. Alright, so what do we have here? Mushrooms. What every soup needs for that extra depth of and character. Foul ale. Might cloud a man's senses. Makes a troll's appetite only more acute. Skulls. Not a proper meal without a carcass left behind. Mandrake draws out a rich aroma from even a sloppily prepared meal. And Wolfsbane. Got your meat but no fire to cook it? This'll do the trick. Okay, so I have no idea how I'm supposed to interpret any of this stuff. Is it supposed to be like, oh, alchemists use mushrooms, so the mushroom does something to the alchemist, and one of these guys is a drinker, so they have the foul ale, and then, you know, this person, or you're a forager, so you would find the mandrake or the wolfsbane. The scout, or the slinger killed someone, so that leads to skulls. I don't know. This is gonna require some trial and error, I think. Ingredient card that matches the scent of each unit. I mean, do we just go 1 for, like, just see what... What? I'm so confused. Consume the leftmost card in the melee row. If it was an ingredient, remove 1 power from the troll's soup. If it was a unit, Meve loses the battle. I mean, these say ingredient, but they're also units. So I don't really get it. Okay, I've learned absolutely nothing. Meve's army was overpowered and forced to retreat to safer ground. Let's try that again. I still know nothing. Still know nothing about how we're supposed to approach this situation. So, consume the leftmost card of the melee row. Am I supposed to play on our side of the board? No. I have to play here. So I put you there, and then it led to you consuming everything? I have no idea. I have no idea how we're supposed to do this. Alright, let's just see what happens if we leave the Alchemist, like one of the starting cards, all the way on the left side, so that that's the thing that starts getting eaten. Because I'm also just not sure what we're technically supposed to have you eat and avoid eating. Get it? It's like, are we trying to get this down to 0? Or are we not trying to get this down to 0? Is also something that I'm not sure of. Any card that matches the scent of each unit. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Just nowhere near enough context here. So this is just going to be a blind trial and error, throw everything out there and see what happens type of situation. Like a brute force situation. You know what? And if we're truly doing that, we're going to make it a controlled experiment. We're going to go card by card, position by position, and see what changes. See what changes. Fortunately, it is pretty quick, but it's you know, it's very unintuitive. So much so that I also am learning basically nothing from doing this, to the point where I'm just blindly throwing the cards out here and not giving it much thought beyond, as I said, just going one card at a time, one position at a time, and seeing what happens. And, well, not so surprisingly, that hasn't worked out just yet. I think we already tried you here. Might have tried you there. We can't go. No, of course we can't go multiple cards per turn. This is one of those ones where you need to see... Well, obviously we're going blind, so I have no idea what we're supposed to do here. But this is one of the ones where you just need to see someone else do it, and then you go, oh, so that's how it works. I never would have known. Somewhere someone is crunching the numbers to see what the maximum number of combinations is. To see how long it'll take before we get all this done. That also requires that I remember exactly all the positions that we've tried thus far. Well, I think we can say with some confidence that it's not these two, apparently, that you start with. Apparently it's not that either. Not only did you not tell me how it works, you also didn't even really tell me what the actual objective is. In Gwent terms, at least. And now I've lost track. Did I do this one? I'll do that one just to play it safe. So that might be a repeat. So now I'm also not giving this much thought and just chatting it up. Not remembering where I put them, but now it's definitely there. I mean, I assume at some point this is going to work. Eventually we'll brute force our way through. But I don't know, is there something even different from this? Some other factor that we are not considering? Probably. I don't know. Like, you would think my initial reaction was you put something all the way to the left, because that's what's getting eaten first. And it was just a matter of picking what goes there? Correctly? Okay. Apparently, hold on, which one was it? The mandrake matches the scent of the alchemist or something. Now the slinger. The slinger, I'm gonna say, is skulls. Either skulls or foul ale. Because violence, basically. But also, they might be drinkers. I don't know. No. Okay. We've at least theoretically learned one thing. We've learned that it goes mandrake first. I think. Yes. Okay. Now, I tried skulls. I'm gonna try the ale. Okay, it's the ale. Now the forager, I'm gonna assume gets mushrooms, or wolfsbane, either one, theoretically. A forager might find. It is not that. Such a... I was looking forward to this challenge because I thought it was gonna be an interesting, unconventional one, but this is just... This one is terrible. This one is terrible, not necessarily from a pure difficulty standpoint. I mean, it is difficult, but the reason that it is difficult is not because there's some crazy combo that we need to figure out. It's just that there's... Oh. What's that gleam on this? But that's not the right answer. I was like, is that secretly going to give us the answer every time? Yeah, the reason why it's difficult is because it's so horrendously explained. And by that I mean that it's just not explained. Alright, so I'm going to try wolfsbane now. Well, there's a chance that you find skulls? No, it's not wolfsbane. Apparently it's skulls. Okay. I mean, theoretically, toward the end, it'll become easier as there are fewer wrong options. But I mean, at this point, we're gonna have, like, basically every single wrong option. You've guessed wrong every single time. Just, kind of goes to show this is not very well designed. Okay, so what goes with the scout? Is it wolfsbane or is it mushrooms? Whatever soup needs for extra depth and character. I mean, is there some other clever trick to the wording that gives away what's supposed to go with which? Got your meat, but no fire to cook it. This'll do the trick. Poisonous for humans, savory for trolls. Known for its lethality and tendency to stick between your teeth. Did we already try this? I don't even remember what we have and have not tried for this. Apparently it's not that. I think we have quite literally gotten every single one wrong, possibly as many times as possible. Which again, just goes to show how counterintuitive this whole process is. We did eventually get the slinger. Got that a little bit earlier, because we didn't try wolfsbane on that, I think. But now you are skulls, and then the last one is mushrooms. Okay, that's incredibly stupid. Just because it's set up so poorly. Okay, but do we get anything interesting in return? Or is it just a little bit of resources, it looks like. My expectations were high. And, boy, did my hopes get crushed. Because that was... I'm sure we've had some pretty terrible puzzles at some point in time. I can think of a few off the top, or, well, at least one or two that were extremely difficult. But for, again, the reasons that a puzzle should be difficult. They require really complicated combos that you wouldn't have first guessed. But the rules are established clearly. The objectives are established clearly. So you know the parameters that you're working with. On this occasion, super vague, not even clear what we were supposed to do at the end. So, like, are we supposed to destroy everything as quickly as possible? Because we did that on our first attempt, but no, apparently not. And you know, are these ingredients or are they units? Because they're technically both. And you say that we're supposed to destroy one, but not the other, which made zero sense. But okay, eventually we brute forced our way through it. So it's done. And at this point, I mean, we could double back to that battle. We certainly will look to do that at some point, although I suspect, or at least my first guess, is that that mill, or rather the press, where they are printing out all that propaganda, might be over here. So that may be something worth pursuing next time round. But I do think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up here. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.